name is Dave Berlin, and I'm the state coordinator with Global Entrepreneurship Week, and I'm here at the roof of the incredible Ahern Hotel, one of our partners this year, and I'm very excited to see so many of the entrepreneurial groups and business owners come together. And the reason why I got involved with Global Entrepreneurship Week is it helps me further my mission to connect the people of our city, so together we can show the world who we really are. I just want to thank everybody for raising their hand and participating in Global Entrepreneurship Week.
Drove down, had nowhere to live. We were in one of the hotels for 6 weeks trying to get somewhere to live. So not planned well. But like the entrepreneurial community here is phenomenal. Like I joined a group called Entrepreneur Organization, and they're my people. Like, you know, I tell these stories and they're like, oh my gosh, I did something just like that. Yeah. Whereas most people are like
you're crazy.
What? Okay. You did what? And then you did that after you did that? Like, and so I love it here, and family oriented. I've made, and I was in LA for 4 years. I don't have a close friend in LA. And here, I've been here 2.5 years. I see somebody I
maybe a degree of separation here in Vegas. And again, and it's like that can be great, and that can also be.
I just sit with them. I'm like, what's going on, girlfriend?
Yeah.
And it comes out.
Yeah. And I think that that's what the beauty is, especially in the female space, is because we tend to come together a little bit more. We tend to share a little bit more. And I think if that's anything that any men out there can learn from us is speak up, because even for them as well, there's this like facade and person that they are supposed to be too. Just as women, we bear these burdens, men bear the burdens too of they're supposed to be the strong ones, and they're supposed to, not show emotions and not emote, period. And they have to be the providers and do all these things. And I remember thinking about that because I'm divorced, and just reflecting on my, past relationship and just just all the intricacies with that, and just thinking like, wow, I can't imagine being in a space of all of the stress that could happen, as far as having to be the provider, and really knowing like it stops at you. And if you mess up, you are in charge of all these other things and all these other lives and everything. And I think, again, being a business owner, same thing, is we think about that, like every decision that we make impacts so many others.
I'm Megan Buckley, and I am your community organizer for Global Entrepreneurship Week. The reason why I got involved with Global Entrepreneurship Week is to give opportunities for everyone to see what we really have here in Vegas outside of the Strip. We are a big small town, and we are a thriving business community, and there is just so much to offer here, whether you are a new business going to come to start, or you want to just get out there and connect with more of the community outside of what it is specifically that you do.
I mean, Alex Hormozy too even said, like, I'm trying to remember perfectly, so I'm not probably going to butcher it, but he hired someone and he was like, hey, I want to make this brand happen. And what do you do? He just was like, okay, we're going to pay this. I'm committed to it for 12 years, I think he was. So something like that. He was committed to it for a long time. He wasn't just thinking about instant results. He committed for a long time.
That's a great point, right? Because I think, we're seeing Alex Hormozy really starting to dominate in the, marketing space and entrepreneurial space as a thought leader. And he did that event that had maybe like 155,000 people live, right? So it was a great demonstration of everything. But we're kind of seeing that, after the, 5, 10 plus years he's put into his business and into content creation. And it's interesting, that he made that comment, right? Because I think the juxtaposition of that is the small business owner who makes the commitment for like 3 months and then quits after 1 month. One thing I'm really excited about is all of the entrepreneur organizers, community organizations coming together to host events throughout the valley to really focus on uplifting entrepreneurs and connecting with folks. If you go to the website, you'll find events hosted by people of all ages, people from all different walks of life, and people from all different levels of business.
So find your niche, I think, is the main suggestion I will say, and think that everything can be a tourism attraction.
That's so fun. And I mean, again, I think that's the fun part about just entrepreneurialism in general is, again, just hearing something like that. I know that sparked my mind to go in a million ways. And I'm sure somebody else watching this, they're like, oh, this and this and this. And so I do think that could really be that key of, instead of just going in that macro kind of vision, it's really looking at, okay, but what is this area or this sector of this city, this town, this region, what are they known for?
It's beautiful, but we wanted tourism so bad that we finally got it, and it was great. But I remember, so the same people who were crying 20 years ago saying we don't have any tourists, we are so beautiful. So the same people who were crying 20 years ago, we don't have any tourists, we are so beautiful, how is it possible? Today are the same people who are like, they cannot even open the door of their houses because they cannot physically. Like I had a friend writing on Facebook, one Sunday he could not physically leave his house because for the crowd outside of his.
One piece of advice to entrepreneurs, not just here in Las Vegas, but around the world, if you're looking at getting involved with Global Entrepreneurship Week, just show up. Show up. You don't have to host an event. You don't have to create this whole crazy thing. It could be just as simple as showing up and supporting other people, sharing those events. If you see something, let people know what's going on.
We do have 50 million tourists that come to Las Vegas. You know, we're capital of the world for fun, sports, and also conferences, right? And so we had this great B2B opportunity. And so what can you share in terms of like both advice to business owners here in Las Vegas to take advantage of this tourism economy that we have, and also, you know, in that same like breath, share why our counterparts and entrepreneurs from all around the world should be looking at Las Vegas as a place to do and build business?
Well, the key word is diversification. Las Vegas is diversifying. And sometimes I heard, so COVID told us that depending on one single economy is not that great, right? So it's very important to diversify outside of tourism, right? Outside of hospitality, outside of gambling. I totally understand it. But I also disagree with those people who say we always only have to diversify outside of tourism. So find, I don't know, automobile or just like, you know, tech. Why don't we diversify also within tourism, which is what we are doing right now, right? If I told you 10 years ago that we were analyzing sports tourism in Southern Nevada for the Super Bowl, you will be like, what, right? So diversification is the key word. Usually one of the best solutions is what is called the win-win solution, which is finding experts who are able, and I'm happy because sociologists and anthropologists increasingly are part of those expert groups who can help the community, like everyone at the stakeholders, who can sit at the stakeholder table and say, okay, let's see what everyone can give up and everyone can win. So in terms of regulation, that's very important. All I'm saying is that it's very important to, again, do your homework. If you are an institution, study, conduct your research, study the destination. Because, for example, sometimes what works for a city doesn't work for the other, even if it is the same state, for example, right? So it's important that policies are done with the community, right? Like mirrors the need of the community. It means that if tourism doesn't behave in the right way, in a sustainable way, I mean, where are we gonna go in the next few years? The tricky part here is that, again, what I'm saying is that they have to find local solutions to global problems, which is not easy. So know the community, see the needs that they have. What I know that some stakeholders are very active, like Lake Mead is very active in that sense. So you have to constantly have communication between the small and the big.
And even to that point too, I mean, because again, when you have these politicians or these policymakers and they're saying, well, we tried, oh, well, we did it, oh, we did this. And so, I mean, going back to even just like basic business, it's a value proposition, right? And if somebody doesn't see value, then they're not going to listen. They're just looking at, I just want to make money. I just want to be able to pay my bills. I want to be able to pay payroll. And so what, like, what is it that with your organization, as far as, again, like getting that out there and just that microphone. And so how can we support you with Global Entrepreneurship Week and even Global Entrepreneurship Network to also partner up in that way for you guys?
Yeah, so I've been placing a lot of entrepreneurs on panels, on speaking engagements, and I'm also doing an action letter. So trade associations, advocacy groups always do action letters where they get lots of people to sign on. So I'm actually doing one of the few, there's very little action letters on behalf of entrepreneurs. So I've drafted kind of, a one pager about what small businesses want in terms of policy, no digital tax, easier to do business, less red tape. Easier to flow cross-border data flows. Don't force people to share the source code, similar elements. And my goal is to get 100 entrepreneurs to sign on to this letter. Then we will distribute it to all the policymakers.
Nice. And so with that, what would you say, Hua, would be something that you can see of like, ooh, this is how I can plug in. This is the piece that I can add on, and so that we can grow even further.
Yes, how to plug in and add on. I think adding these, just working with these 5 cohorts, I've already seen some value that founders are saying, oh, this is very valuable. You provided this guidance, you provided this person introduction, you provided these templates. So I'm seeing value there. I'm excited about the investment accelerator because that's just more capital. In the early spring, $100K for 5 companies. That's just additional capital that is an option for founders. And I think it's always good, right? The more investments, the more people coming in, making capital investments in companies is great for the ecosystem. And the goal is to attract more, so there could be more options.
Yeah. And so here in Las Vegas, what would you say is kind of just like your biggest piece of advice as far as maybe a founder getting started or launching, or maybe, something going to market? What would you say is that piece of advice from you?
Yeah, so advice, I think, make sure you're solving a problem that is big enough and that people will pay for the solution, as you need to make money and you want to make lots of money if you can.
I just want to thank everybody for raising their hand and participating in Global Entrepreneurship Week.